Hello everyone, my name is Jordan. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I want to read in March of 2022. Yes, I know it is like March 6th at this point, so we're a week into March, and I finished one book and just started the second one, but we're going to talk about the rest of the month and my plans. So my plans for this month are very hopeful, wishful. I have done the math, figured out what books I need to read in which weeks, and how many pages I need to read per day to get those done, and it is going to be tough, but I'm going to try my best. I have a couple readathons and read-alongs I want to participate in this month. First off, we have the read-alongs, which would be the By the Angel Along by the Becca Fowle, which we are reading City of Glass for this month. And then we have the Backlist Book Club, which is hosted by Covers with Cassidy, and we're reading Call of the Bone Ships. As for readathons, I would like to participate in the Magical Readathon short week-long version, Gear Up Edition, that's what it's called, hosted by G over at Book Roast. And then I would also like to take part in the Final Book Support Group, which is happening the same week, hosted by Steph Loves. So I guess without further ado, let's get into my ambitious plans. So this first week, or the second week technically, of March, I want to focus on rereading the books that I need to get to in order to make progress on some series. So in the week of the Final Book Support Group, read-along, readathon, I will be making progress reading some sequels and some final books, hopefully. But this week, I want to refresh my memory on some of the books that I've previously read. To start off, I'm going to be reading Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Like I said, this is a reread. I've read the first book, not the second or third books in this series, which is called the Aurora Cycle. If you don't know what the series is about, basically it starts off with this guy. He is graduating from the academy, I believe, and it's his day to pick his squadron, his squad. He has got the top choices, but something happens, and on the day of the draft, he is actually out rescuing this girl who has been lost in space, locked in this cryogenic sleep for years and years and years, and that leads him to ending up with the dregs of the academy. And it's all about their adventures in space, their adventures as a squadron. I really enjoyed it the first time I read it, and I don't know how I didn't continue immediately when I got the sequel, because I don't think the second book had come out when I read this one. But the third one has been out for a few months now, so it's about time I get to it and finish this trilogy. I honestly don't remember much of what happens in this book, except for at the very end. So I'm excited to experience this all over again. And continuing with the theme of rereads in order to finish series, I'm going to be rereading Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, hopefully, after I finish Aurora Rising. I'm sure at this point you all know what Throne of Glass is about. Having recently read Crescent City, I am dying to read all the Sarah J. Maas I can. And I first read Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight when they were coming out. I think I read them when those were the only two books out, and I never finished after that. I never continued. I've reread both of these before in order to continue, but then I never continued. So this will be my third time rereading Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, but my plan is to continue. Hopefully I will actually do that. If you don't know, Throne of Glass follows Selena Sardathian, an assassin who has been in jail, I believe, and she is selected to participate in this contest to become the king's champion. She meets all kinds of people, like the captain of the guard, the crown prince, and a princess from a faraway land, and something evil is dwelling in the castle, and she has to find out what it is while also competing to become the king's champion. I really loved these when I first read them, and I know there's this big shift that kind of happens after the second book into the third book, so I'm intrigued to see what actually everyone's talking about. I just really want to finish this series this year, hopefully. So to do the math on that, if I want to read all three of those books in 1 week, I have to read a total of 160 pages every day, which is going to be tough because I work until like 6 p.m. every day, and when I get home I'm exhausted. So we'll see how that actually works out this coming week. But that's not the toughest one. I've done the math for the following week, which is the week of the readathons, and that comes out to 200 pages a day. So what will I be reading that week? Hopefully, I will be continuing on with Throne of Glass by reading The Assassin's Blade, which is a series of, I believe, short stories, novellas, maybe? That's what I thought it was. But it's a book that takes place before the events of Throne of Glass, but it was published after Crown of Midnight, I think, so I want to read them in order. I think I have a vague idea of what this one is about, but I don't want to read the synopsis and spoil anything for myself, so hopefully this will be the first book I get done in the week of the magical readathon and the final book support group. Obviously this is continuing on with the series for the final book support group, and as for the magical readathon, I am not sure what prompts I'm going to use these books for. I think for the magical readathon I might use this for the prompt, at least 2 S's in the title, to choose my conduit, a spell book. It's got like 5 S's in the title, so this one will work very well. And then other series I would like to complete in this week, or at least make progress on, would be the Aurora Cycle, as I mentioned earlier. I at least want to get to Aurora Burning in that week, because it is the second book, I believe. Yes, I think Aurora's End is the third and final one, but I at least want to continue on with the series, make progress, and read Aurora Burning, because that's what the readathon is all about. As for my prompt for the magical readathon, I think this one could fit very well for sci-fi, which would be a multiverse legacy, the multiverse legacy pick for my character. But I'm just gonna read and pick my prompt based on what I can fit in reading that week, what I feel like reading that week, and I will decide my legacy choice, finalize it later after the week is over. I'm really hoping I can get to this one because I want to catch up on the series or make progress, as I've been saying. I did have one other alternative option for the week of the readathon, and if I don't feel like finishing the Aurora Cycle series, I will pick up the final book in the Nevernight Chronicle, which is Dark Dawn. I'm dying to read this one, and it would actually allow me to finish the series during that week, which is great. The Nevernight Chronicle follows Mia Corvier, whose father was killed by these 3 men in political power, and she trains to become an assassin in order to enact her revenge on these people. Great story. I'm loving what I've read so far, so I wouldn't be mad if I could finish that trilogy this week as well. So I've done the math for either or Aurora's End or Dark Dawn, and it comes out to either 193 pages if I choose to read Dark Dawn over Aurora's End, or 200 pages a day if I choose to read Aurora's End. So either way, good luck to me. I don't think that will be happening, but I can try. And after that, I don't really have many more plans for the rest of the month besides my read-along books. So in the week after those readathons, I hope to get to City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, which is the third book in the Mortal Instruments series. Again, I'm sure you know what the Mortal Instruments series is about at this point. I'm rereading it with Rebecca Fowle for her By the Angel Along, and I'm really enjoying my reread of the series. I think this is going to be one of my favorite books in the series, even though the Mortal Instruments isn't my favorite series as a whole in the Shadowhunter Chronicles. It is one of the bigger books in this series. I don't have much more to say about this because it is a sequel and a reread. I'm just hoping I can get to it and really interested to continue my reread. Another book I hope to get to that week is the Backlist Book Club's read-along for this month, which would be Call of the Bone Ships. I didn't really enjoy the Bone Ships that much in February. I thought it was okay. It was kind of boring, but I felt there was so much potential that could possibly play out in the second book. I have no idea where the plot could possibly go from the end of the first book to this one. In the first one, these sea monster dragons exist, and that's what they make their ships out of. But these dragons have disappeared years and years and years ago, and one day one is spotted So our main cast of characters are sent to go deal with that, and you know, if you kill it, you're at a very high advantage because you can build your ships, you can repair your ships. It just puts you in a very high position in this war they have ongoing with their neighbor islands. I'm not dying to pick up the sequel. I'm just interested to see where it could possibly go, if it will be better than the first novel, which I hope it will be. Which the first novel had a lot of potential, it just didn't pan out enough for me. There wasn't enough character development, character relationship building. There was a lot of world building, but I honestly still wanted more world building. But yeah, I'm just excited to discuss this with the group because that's my favorite part of read-alongs, is seeing everyone's thoughts and making me think more about the book I read, noticing things that I might not have noticed in the first place. And the final book I hope to at least get to start in March, Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking it too. 2 ship books back to back. They might not be back to back, but in such close quarters, it might be a little confusing, but I think they're going to stand out a lot differently in my mind, just because I know Robin Hobb is very character focused. The Bone Ships has not been. And I mean, I know this one super thick, 800 something pages. It's gonna take me a while, which is why I just want to start it this month. If you don't know what Ship of Magic, the first book in the Live Ship Traders series, is about, it is the sequel series to the Farseer trilogy, which followed Fitz, the bastard son of the king. This one, I don't think follows Fitz, but it follows the events of the end of Assassin's Quest. It's about these ships where I believe 3 generations of a family have to die on board and the ship comes to life. That's all I know. That's all I need to know. I am dying to get back into the realm of the Elderlings. I loved the first 3 books so much, and I just really want to continue. That's all I have to say about this. I want to read this so bad, but I don't have time until the end of the month because I don't want to be starting series when I'm supposed to be working on finishing them. But there you have it. Those are the 8 books that I plan on reading in March. 8-ish, maybe 9, maybe not even 8. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books down below, what your favorite was, what your thoughts were, which ones I should prioritize and read first. Even though I already have a plan, let's hope my plan can actually play out. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you with another video soon. Bye!